Your Excellency, Mr. Gan Kim Yong, Minister of Health, we're deeply, deeply honored by your presence today, and we admire your leadership in bringing advanced, affordable, and accessible healthcare as part of Singapore's prosperity. So great honor to have you here. Thank you very much. Honorable members of Parliament, Mr. Ang Hin Kee and Mr. Sito Ee Pin, Excellencies, my diplomatic colleagues, the friends of India in this richly diverse nation, and my fellow Indians, the window to India's heart and heritage, to our potential and progress. A hearty welcome to all of you on the 70th Republic Day of India, the day on which, in 1950, our Constitution came into effect. This year, we are again at a new venue. We keep looking for bigger places because the size of our participation keeps growing. So thank you all for being here tonight in such a large number. This year, as you've just seen, the world is celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. 71 years after his death, his life, mission, message, and the means remain universal and timeless in relevance. It isn't just because he led the second most populous nation to freedom and ignited the light of liberty around the world, or that he used an extraordinary means to overcome the most powerful, mighty colonial empire, the power of peace and the strength of moral force. For him, the question of freedom was not just a political cause, but a larger imperative of liberty, equality, dignity, justice, and inclusion for every human being, for harmony and respect across races and religions. And in a life of great frugality, and in his concern for nature, he spoke for our planet at a time when few thought about the perils she was facing at human hands. And he advocated an economic model that spoke of development ground up, empowerment of villages, and a relationship of trusteeship between enterprise and society, so relevant in our times today. In the language of modern day, his life was one of experimentation, innovation, communication, and above all, disruption. But the visions and ideals of Mahatma Gandhi did not just shape our freedom struggle, but it also were the foundational principles of our Constitution, the world's longest written constitution. It is a constitution that nurtures India's unparalleled diversity and unites 1.3 billion people behind a common purpose and a shared future. It anchors the world's largest democracy from villages to state level to national level, and it remains the guiding beacon of our social change and economic progress. And in the course of these 7 decades, we have overcome the challenges of the circumstances of our birth, and we have made advances across almost every field of human endeavor, even as we have added 1 billion people to the same territory. But we know that the pursuit of the promise written into our Constitution remains an ongoing journey. And that journey, ladies and gentlemen, has become faster in the course of the last 4 years. We have become the world's fastest major growing economy, averaging 7.5% a year. And every determinant of growth, from demography to politics to governance to policies to the scale of investment and the level of aspiration, points to the fact that we will sustain these high rates of growth for decades to come. There are many indicators. For example, rising 75 ranks in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index in the course of 2 years, or the unprecedented scale of expansion of infrastructure in India, 30,000 kilometers of new national highways, 30 new operational airports, 100,000 megawatts of power, 35% coming from renewable energy sources, the world's most sophisticated digital payment infrastructure in the form of unified payment interface, and 300,000 kilometers of optic fiber cable network that links 120,000 village councils, and a figure that is about to double in the next couple of years. But it is the transformation in the lives of every citizen of India that reflects the vision of our Constitution and the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi. In the course of these last 4 years, we've opened 330 million new bank accounts, bringing banking to every family in the country, connected tens of millions of them to affordable insurance and pension. We have launched an affordable healthcare scheme for 500 million Indians, Ayushman Bharat. We have provided 145 million microcredit worth $90 billion, and 75% of that has gone to women in India in villages. We have connected each of our 600,000 villages with electricity. We have extended the access to cooking gas from 50% of the population to 90%, and with 228 million beneficiaries receiving direct government support. This reduces both environment and health hazard for women in India. We have increased the sanitation coverage from 38% of the population to 85% of the population. And we have built 13.7 million homes for poor people in rural India, and we are about to complete 5 million homes for the urban poor. And in the course of these last 2 years, we have added more power, electricity, through renewable sources than through thermal, and that shows our commitment to the future of our planet. You often don't hear of these things over here, and which is why I thought it was worth reflecting back on what we've done. But we also know that in many areas, for example, dealing with our urbanizing population, cleaning up our environment, securing the incomes of our farmers and creating jobs for our youth, we still have much to do. But we know the path to the future, and 2019 will see the world's largest election in human history, when 900 million Indians, including 100 million first-time voters, will choose a new parliament in India. And this election will renew us, just as the strength of our institutions will give us stability and continuity. So we will stay the course on our economy and in foreign relations. And it is the same Gandhian ideals, the same foundational principles of our Constitution that shapes our external engagement. We seek progress through peace and partnership. And there are no better partners for us in this region than Singapore. We embrace diversity at home, and we seek an open and inclusive world beyond. A world that is defined by rule of law, free from divisions and domination, where every nation, small and large, feel a sense of equality and dignity. We're connected by secure seas and integrated by trade. And in the course of 2018, we had a historic level of engagement anchored in 2 prime ministerial visits, the visit of Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong to India, 30 ministerial visits, and countless official-level visits, and of course, Singapore's outstanding stewardship of ASEAN and ASEAN-related institutions that deserves a round of applause. Since we last met in August 2018 to celebrate our Independence Day, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi reaffirmed India's commitment to ASEAN, to the broader Indo-Pacific region, and to the early conclusion of RCEP. His keynote speech at the Singapore FinTech Festival last November not only highlighted our extraordinary progress the 2 nations are making, but also headlined the cooperation that we have launched in this area. Our navies conducted their largest bilateral naval exercise in their 25th year. With 20 ships, submarines, and aircraft participating, we signed an army-to-army agreement, and we have announced a trilateral exercise with Thailand. And at this moment, we would like to pause and think of the loss of a young life in Singapore in the call of his national duty. We grieve with Singaporeans today. And we have, in the course of these months, had a 3rd review of Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. We launched the Joint Working Group on FinTech. We have launched a new CEO forum, and we've had the first India-Singapore hackathon. We have 2 new destinations, Vijayawada and Pune, to add to 16 air links in India. And several states, especially from the north, have begun new partnership with Singapore, even as the iconic Amravati capital city project in Andhra Pradesh and several projects in Maharashtra have reached new milestones. This is all in the course of just a few months. And week after week, we come together to celebrate the extraordinary wealth of our heritage in culture, art, festivals, and faith that add a unique glow of warmth, familiarity, and comfort to this extraordinary relationship. And now, as we look ahead to the future, in a time of multiple challenges, some near and far, some immediate and looming, some predictable and uncertain, but also in an age of opportunity, we will build on the momentum of what we have done in 2018. We will set our sights to higher ambitions so that we can build a partnership and pave the paths to the future of greater prosperity for our nations and to build a world that mirrors our ideals. Thank you. Thank you very much.